And in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to pick a good dropshipping niche or niche. Perhaps it's definitely niche, actually. And I'm going to go ahead and probably guess that it's going to be quite different to what you've already heard and what you may have already been told. So pay attention and kind of watch till the end, because you might find some different information here. So if you're looking to get started dropshipping, and you want to kind of go into a deeper dive into how exactly we do this, then as always, you can head over to the dropshipunlocked.com/free link, like you see on your screen here. So if somebody could possibly type that into the comments, that would be much appreciated. So yeah, niche selection then. So I mean, clients come to me because they want to build an e-commerce business, right? They want something that they can get that time and location freedom from, that they can stop trading time for money. They want that financial security and that long-term stability with this kind of a business. And so in order to achieve that, you have to do a few things right. You know, if you're going to pick products to sell, you have to be pretty sure that they're going to be the right products and that they're going to be in demand to build you a sustainable business. And even though the clients that come to me, often they have money to invest, they have time to invest, they know that this is not one of those, you know, kind of click your fingers and get rich kind of business models. And they're happy going out and actually putting themselves in those conversations with suppliers. Like, they're willing to do that. They're willing to be the face of their brand and get themselves out there. They often tell me that they're struggling with finding which products to actually sell, you know, like, because you don't want to waste time on products that aren't going to end up yielding any results. And I understand that. Like, they say that they aren't sure how to know whether a group of products are even going to be successful down the line. So why risk spending the next, you know, 2, 3, 6 months building a business that may end up being one that doesn't work, and so you have to pivot? And yet they kind of want to avoid that. And it makes sense, because the risk is not just financial. I mean, it's very minimally financial in this type of market, but it's very much time risk. Like, that's the thing that people can't get back. And I think that's the thing that people forget. And I understand that it's hard. It makes them feel overwhelmed by all the conflicting information that's out there. There's people saying, like, you've got to go and research products on Jungle Scout, you know, if it's Amazon, or you've got to download this new amazing bit of product research software. And the thing I always think when clients say, should I use this product research software, is, well, if you're using it, who else is using it? You know, because the chances are you're not going to be the only one using it. So it's kind of like we talked about the other day about finding a business model, finding a niche. You've got to know that if you just employ a cookie cutter strategy, then everyone else is going to do it. So you've got to add your own kind of spin to it, in a sense. But I understand it. Like, it makes them feel uncertain as to whether they're going to be wasting their time doing this and end up making no sales. And it just makes them feel a little bit uncertain about, should I proceed, and really going into it kind of like jumping in with both feet, you know. And you don't want to be in a position where you're not giving your business everything because of that level of uncertainty. I get that. You know, I understand. I was in exactly the same situation when I first started with this. I was like, well, there's no guarantee here. And I think with everything I'd done up to that point, there's always been some kind of a guarantee that, like, if you do the right things in life, like, you get the next opportunity and you can kind of move up the ladder. But it's different in business, different in entrepreneurship, because there are no guarantees. So you have to mitigate that risk, I think, yourself a bit more. And so it reminded me, and by the way, before we get into kind of what I was going to cover today, there's a good training that you can cover if you're just joining us now, where we go a lot more in depth into exactly how to pick the right niche for a dropshipping business. And you can get that by going to dropshipunlocked.com/free. It's an on-demand free training. So feel free to head over there, have a watch, see what you think. And yeah, it reminds me of a conversation I had with one of my coaching clients recently, whereby she came to me and kind of asked for my thoughts on the niche that she was going to pick. And I won't name the client, I won't name the specific niche that she was picking, but it was, I mean, she's pretty technical, right? She's working a job at the moment. She's got a good income to invest towards her business, and she's looking to transition out of that spending time for money and selling time for money kind of cycle into having a business that's up and running and kind of doing this on a semi-automated basis, at least. And so, yeah, she's not down to her last few £100s, you know, and she's not trying to kind of make this work. And if you're in that situation, I'd suggest it's probably not the best thing to be doing, because as I say, there are no guarantees with this. So you've got to have that support to make sure that if it doesn't quite work out the first time, you can pivot into different categories. And that's kind of what I was going to talk about today. Because she asked me, what do you think about these products? And, you know, for the sake of this example, let's call it like red recliner chairs. Okay, so those chairs that you have in the living room that you can pull the lever on and recline back in, right? Red recliner chairs. Now, if you imagine that I decided, do you know what, I'm going to go out and say I called my shop, say my name is Rob, Rob's Red Recliner Chairs, right? That's my niche. That's what I've picked. Well, there might be demand for red recliner chairs. There might be people that do want to purchase those, but the likelihood is there's also going to be a big market of people that are very interested in recliners, but they want a blue one or a green one. Or maybe there's a lot of people that want red chairs, but not recliners. They just want red chairs, you know? So it's about positioning of your niche. If you call yourself after the name of a specific product, you're leaving yourself no wiggle room, right? And think about what that does from a risk perspective. If your intention and your aim and goal from this is to try to mitigate the risk and reduce the amount of risk that you're going to have, you don't want to pigeonhole yourself into a specific product. Does that make sense? So because if you do that and it doesn't work, which it can happen, you know, we can do a lot of things to try to prevent the risk of that happening, but it can happen. It does happen occasionally. You want to be able to pivot so that you can serve the existing demand, okay? Because that's what it comes down to. It's much, much harder, as I always talk about, to drum up interest for products that you don't know if they're in demand anyway, right? Why would you do that? When you can go and kind of find the low-hanging fruit, as they call it, where you can find out the products that are in demand, just go and sell to those customers. It's much, much easier. You're going to have much more success. And the thing, when I say easier, not only is it easier, but it's also cheaper, right? Because you're going to be able to get in front of those customers with the methods that we go through and how to actually put yourself in front in what's called search intent marketing, right? Where people are actually looking for that product already, and you can get those products in front of them. So, for example, you know, if you're going to pick a proven and in-demand niche and ideally sell products, as we teach, over kind of the £300 mark, so that you're making good profit on each sale you make and you don't need as many of those sales. And there's one thing that's really helpful that I would say that you can use, and feel free to use this in your own business if you're at that point at the moment where you're about to launch. Don't think very carefully about your brand name. Don't pigeonhole yourself. Don't call yourself Rob's Red Recliners. You know, because imagine if, you know, you were kind of like the lounge store or something like that, whereby you could sell red recliners as your first category, but if they didn't pick up traction, if you weren't making too many sales and you were like, what do I do next then? Like, where do I turn? You've got options. You know, you can pivot. You can make a sideways move and say, okay, let's now target a slightly different category, and that's fine. So, I mean, if you're serious about doing this, if you are at the point right now where you're about to launch that brand and you want to make sure that it is proven, it is going to be successful, and you want the proven system to be able to do it, head over to dropshipunlocked.com/free, register for the free on-demand training, and you can have a quick look at exactly how we do it. And so, yeah, with that said, I just wanted to thank everybody who is with us live on the stream today. Feel free to pop any questions you have into the comments, or if there's anything that you'd like me to cover in an upcoming live with Lewis, as we're calling these now, then feel free to put that in the comments. And if you have found this helpful, then feel free, let me know in the comments. And if you'd be so generous as to just give this video a passing like, it would be like Christmas come early for me. So I'd really appreciate that. And if you know anyone else that you think would find value in this at the moment, perhaps they're talking about launching a dropshipping business, perhaps you're kind of toying with the idea of e-commerce and thinking, where do we position ourselves in the market? What's our best point of entry? Then please click the share button, send them the link to this, however you want to do it, tag them in the comments, whatever you want to do, and just bring it to their attention, because they might find it really helpful. So yeah, I better wrap this up now, as I've got to get ready for another call with a client shortly. But I hope you found it useful. So just to remind you, I'm Lewis Smith, and if you want to head over to dropshipunlocked.com/free, you can learn more about this in more detail, where we go into real depth into how to pick a niche in high ticket dropshipping. So I hope you all have a great day and speak soon.